Hey everyone, welcome back to Corporate Decoder, the place where we decode the language of money and find out if companies are truly as healthy as they say they are, or maybe even better than expected. Let's see if Payoneer's latest report gives us any clues. Today we're diving into Payoneer Global Inc. SaaS latest report, a snapshot of their recent performance. This is a Form 8K, which essentially means something important happened that the company needs to tell the public right away. Think of this form as a company's way of saying, hey investors, something newsworthy just occurred. And what happened here is Payoneer announced their financial results for the most recent quarter, which ended on June 30th of 2025. This is usually the most interesting part for us because it gives us hard numbers to analyze. Payoneer's common stock trades on the Nasdaq stock market under the ticker symbol PAYO. This is how people buy and sell ownership in the company. This section is essentially about how the company is doing financially. It's where they lay out their earnings and other important financial details. This is the core of the announcement. Payoneer put out a press release on August 6, 2025 to share their financial results for the 3 months ending June 30th, 2025. This press release is the document we'd really want to dig into to see the actual numbers, but what we have here is the SEC filing that includes it. Now, here's a little bit of legalese that's important to understand. When companies submit this kind of information, they're often saying this is for your information, but it's not official like a registered filing yet. It means they're being careful about how this specific piece of information is counted under the law, especially regarding liability. They're not trying to hide anything, they're just being precise about the legal weight of this announcement. This is where they list the actual accompanying documents. Exhibit 99.1 is the press release we're talking about. Think of it as the detailed report card. This confirms that the press release dated August 6, 2025 is indeed the attached document containing the financial results. This exhibit is a bit different. It's the cover page interactive data file, which is basically a way to make the company's financial information more accessible and machine readable for investors and regulators. This means that the essential information from the cover page with all the key company identifiers is tagged in a special digital format to make it easier to process and analyze automatically. And here we have the official sign-off. Bear Ordonez, the Chief Financial Officer, has signed off on this report, confirming its accuracy on behalf of Payoneer Global Inc. This is the person ultimately responsible for the company's financial reporting. Now, looking at this report, it's pretty straightforward. It's essentially an announcement that Payoneer released their quarterly financial results. Without the actual press release attached, it's hard to get into the nitty-gritty of the numbers themselves. However, the fact that they're releasing their results as scheduled is a good sign of operational consistency. Usually companies like Payoneer, which provides online payment solutions for businesses, would be reporting on things like transaction volumes, revenue growth, and changes in their customer base. We'd be looking for strong payment processing volumes, revenue growth, and changes in their customer base. We'd be looking for strong payment processing volume and maybe an increase in the number of active users or businesses using their platform, and how their overall revenue is growing compared to the previous year. Any slowdown in transaction growth or a decrease in active users would be a red flag suggesting increased competition or perhaps a general economic downturn affecting their clients. When we don't see the actual financial tables here, it makes our job tough. Normally this is where we'd see the earnings per share, the net income, and revenue figures. We compare these to analyst expectations and the company's own previous performance. For instance, if revenue grew by, say, 15%, we'd want to understand if that was better or worse than expected, and what drove that growth. Was it more customers, or were existing customers processing more money? A 20% drop in transaction volume, for example, could mean they're losing about 1 in every 5 potential transactions. A key metric for Payoneer would be gross payment volume, or GPV, which represents the total monetary value of all transactions processed through their platform. If GPV is up significantly, that generally means good things for Payoneer's revenue, or GPV, which represents the total monetary value of all transactions processed through their platform. If GPV is up significantly, that generally means good things for Payoneer's revenue, as they typically earn fees on these transactions. What we can infer from this filing is the timing of the announcement. By filing this 8K, Payoneer is signaling that these financial results are important enough for immediate disclosure, usually before or at the same time as the market opens. This is to ensure all investors get the information at the same time, preventing any unfair advantage. However, without the actual numbers, it's like trying to review a movie based only on the trailer. We know the movie is out, but we don't know if it's a blockbuster or a flop. For Payoneer, a company operating in the fast-paced fintech space. Consistent growth and strategic execution are key. They face competition from players like PayPal, Stripe, and newer entrants. Their ability to attract and retain both businesses and freelancers worldwide is crucial. Based on this limited information, we can't give a definitive analysis of Payoneer's current health. We know they've announced their quarterly results, which is standard procedure. The real story would be in the numbers within that press release. If those numbers show strong growth in transaction volume and revenue, it would suggest Payoneer is successfully navigating the competitive landscape and benefiting from the growth of e-commerce and the gig economy. If the numbers are stagnant or declining, it would raise concerns about their market position and future prospects. A significant risk for Payoneer could be regulatory changes in the payment processing industry or economic slowdowns that reduce cross-border trade and freelancer income. On the opportunity side, they could benefit from expanding into new markets or offering more value-added services to their customers. In conclusion, this filing is just a notification that the results are out. To get the real picture of Payoneer's performance, we need that press release with the actual financial data. We'll be keeping an eye out for that. Alright, that's our breakdown of Payoneer's latest filing. What's your take on these announcements and what they signal for a company like Payoneer? Drop your thoughts in the comments. If this analysis was valuable, hitting that like button really helps, and subscribe for more deep dives. Don't forget to check out the Discord in the description for more community discussions. Thanks for watching. See you next time.